I'm gonna hum, ha, hoo, yeah. Oh.
Give me some more.
I gotta get in nice, close, and deep, and oh, yeah.
Where am I?
Not here, dude.
No, I don't know. This is Try the Goulash. I'm Alex.
It's your boy Willie G.
And it's Blake.
It's Blake Tingles here.
Oh my gosh, my name's Blake. Let's snap for him.
Hey.
Okay, we're done with him.
Yeah, so where am I? Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
You stole my joke from earlier, dude.
That was Will's joke, but I don't give a fuck. We're going to talk about
Motherfucking
places and traveling to them. We're talking about traveling, folks. That's the theme. Travel.
travel.
Welcome to this week. We love you.
Hope it's been good so far. Hope we do it.
I really hope
do
we
it.
just do it.
I hope we do it, boys. We're gonna
really,
do it.
I'm really kind of just hoping we do it.
All right.
Can we do it?
Pull your pants down.
Okay.
You know
Sorry,
what?
everyone.
Speaking of travel, let's send Blake far,
Yep.
far away from here.
We're sending you away, dude.
Let's get him out.
Where are you sending me? Where are you going to send me?
Um,
Canada?
no, somewhere you would not like.
I'm gonna say North Korea.
I probably wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
We're sending you to
That
North
would be
Korea.
weird.
Yep, that's where you're going, dude. You're gonna be Kim Jong-un's best friend.
All right. Let's not spend a lot of time on this. Let's just rattle this off quickly. Where have we all been in the world? Will, you're up first. Go.
What? Like, are you talking about different
like
cities,
continents?
countries?
Yeah.
I mean, the only place I've been
Let's talk
outside
countries.
of United States is Mexico. Sadly.
Viva Mexico!
That's the only
Wow.
place I've been. I mean, I've been to a lot of states.
That's the only place
but
outside
yeah,
you've been?
outside
Mexico?
United
Al?
States.
Give us the list.
I've been to Mexico. Went with Will. We touched butts.
I was there as well.
You didn't touch
Guys?
butts.
Yeah, but you didn't touch butts.
dude. That's another level.
That's
of friendship.
Will and I.
Touched wieners.
That's like a foundation for us.
Dude,
Whose wieners
you're
did you
going
touch?
back to fucking North Korea.
Yeah,
You
dude.
touched wieners on fucking a
one-way
mission trip,
flight.
dude.
Much fireball.
Dude, you're
Bye.
You're a sinner.
All right, so I've been to
Go.
Mexico. I've been to Puerto Rico. It's not a different country, really. I guess it is. Yeah, it's a different country, but it's
Yeah.
just U.S. land. I've been to St. Croix, the Dominican Republic, Guadeloupe, Panama. I've been to, I think that's it for the West Coast, or the Western Hemisphere. I've been to
Central America.
Ireland. I've been to England. I've been to Spain. I've been to Italia.
Italia?
I've been to
I think it's Italy.
the Netherlands. I think that's it.
What was your favorite?
Out of all of those,
Yeah.
I bet. Can I guess? Can I try to guess?
I'm going to say Italia.
No, I'm gonna say Ireland.
Ireland is the best.
Oh, yeah. One point for
Subjective,
me.
but it's just really
It's
cheap.
your homeland.
Really
It is your
green.
homeland.
Green is my favorite color. I am Irish. Not even really enough to even say that I'm Irish. I'm mostly German, but a wee bit Irish. And it was a blast. I had a good time. Met some really cool people. And saw some just really cool chunks of earth. Cliffs of Moher.
Oh.
I know it's like cliche, but
No.
dude, when you're like laying
beautiful.
on top of this cliff, like I laid my body so that my head was just over the edge.
Ah.
And just looking directly down 700 feet to the sea.
This
like
is-
waves crashing into the same cliff that is touching your chin 700 feet.
This is
below.
unrelated, but if I am ever looking over an edge that is not protected, like there's no guardrail,
just me
that's
and the
how
cliff.
that's how I have to do it.
Yeah, no, I climbed out. Like,
have
I like
to,
army
like-
crawled out there.
I have to like just barely roll one of my eyeballs over the edge.
There's pictures of
Laying
me like sitting up there. So I think at one point I was sitting, but
Nice.
No,
That
thank
sounds
you.
beautiful. I
Yeah,
would like
those
to
are-
go there.
Those are my
someday.
places. What
Oh,
about you,
totally.
Blake?
Mexico with these guys. I've been to Canada. I've been to Germany. I've been to Croatia. That is it. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Was it Croatia? That's where Medj is?
that's where Medj is.
That's
Medj.
what I thought.
Medjugorje.
Bosnia Herzegovina.
Yeah,
That's the. I
The
don't know what
city?
they call that. The Providence? I don't know what it would be called.
probably.
Bosnia.
Bosnia. Yeah.
Interesting.
What was your favorite place? that
It
you
was
went?
Canada. It was
Oh,
hands down
yeah. I
Canada.
knew
Canada was the best.
Canada.
By
I don't wanna
far.
go.
I was in Ontario, Lake of the Woods. If you know that place, it's fucking great. I would highly recommend vacationing there.
What's your favorite state?
That I've been in,
Yeah, that I know. It's mine.
it's probably Colorado.
Yeah, you betcha.
What's yours, Will?
I don't know. That's tough.
I think I've been to like half.
Idaho was pretty cool, actually.
I mean, do you count being to a state if you just like touch down? Like when we were going out to Mexico, we touched down at LAX. Does that mean I've been in California?
I would say you have to have like
Been there
done
for, like,
something,
hours.
done like
something?
an activity in the city.
It's Colorado by far. The follow up to that is probably Florida. I've had a
Yeah.
lot of good family memories in Florida.
Beach wise, it's probably Charleston. It's just like unlike any other beach town I've ever been to, just because where I stayed every time, it's actually called Isle of Palms, which is like kind of an island right off of Charleston. So Charleston isn't a very like massive city. Actually, in fact, the tallest buildings in the cities or in Charleston are the churches. The church steeples are the tallest building structures in the city.
interesting.
So it's not a huge city, and it's like there's a lot of history in Charleston. But then, so you're in the heart of the city, and then you go over this huge long bridge, and you can't see the ocean at the time. But like once you get to the peak of
Yeah.
the bridge, you just see ocean
That's
all
beautiful.
surrounding you, and it's like there's intercoastal waters like that you're driving over. But it's just a really cool view.
We've turned into an educational podcast this week. I hope you
mean,
enjoy the facts.
That's
exactly.
nice.
But I would say probably the most enjoyable was, I guess, like Washington and Idaho. I went to Yellowstone.
Oh my god, I didn't know you've been there.
Yeah,
That's
pretty-
cool.
It's
That's
pretty-
I would love to go.
that's on my list.
It's. I mean, honestly, a day was enough.
Oh yeah.
There's just too many people. Number one, I went in the
Dude.
summer.
tourists.
And you drive like all over Yellowstone. And, I mean, there's so much to look at. You have like, if you go to Yellowstone, you need to go to the canyons, because you can like hike up and down the canyons, and there's like waterfalls that you can see that are super super gorgeous.
That's nice.
I mean, Old Faithful is cool, but it's not that great. It's really not that great. All it is
I'm sure
is
it's
it just
kinda
shoots
overrated.
up super high in the sky. and
But it's also where the super volcano is that's going
Yeah.
to kill the whole United States.
the
so
like,
that's kind of fun.
what are they? They're not hot springs, but
Geysers?
the geysers, yes.
Geezers.
Dude, the geysers
Geysers.
smell so fucking bad.
Smell
Straight
like farts?
Sulfur, yeah. Oh my
Dude, that's
god,
how a
it's
volcano
just
smells.
like egg.
T-Bell farts?
No, it is straight rotten.
It's
egg.
eggs.
It's rotten
It's
eggs.
eggs.
Like,
Have you
Yeah,
ever been on a volcano other than that, I guess, if that counts?
Have you?
no.
Al?
I hiked a volcano in Guadalupe.
What the fuck? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
it was cool.
I didn't know that.
It wasn't one that you could like see in. There's like fucking lava like you see in cartoons.
yeah.
You know, you couldn't like climb to the rim and then see like
Not
the.
Krakatoa. Is it Krakatoa? What's the volcano that fucked the Pompeii people over?
Oh, that's
Isn't that Krakatoa?
no. It's
Mount
Vesuvius.
Mount Vesuvius. That's it.
Vesuvius.
Vesuvius.
Vesuvius. Yeah. I've been to Pompeii.
Have you? Okay, Al's the most traveled.
Yeah.
I've traveled a lot, and
Well,
I'm gonna travel. A lot.
Al, he traveled abroad.
I traveled
in-
a lot with work, and I studied abroad in college for
That
two 2.5 months, which definitely helps. Yeah.
I was
'Cause
looking
traveled
back.
every weekend.
If you're in college and you're listening to this, take advantage of that.
Study
shit
abroad if you can
because
afford
it's-
it, or if you can take out a loan somehow and go do it. I think
It's worth it.
Let's go beyond studying abroad. Let's talk to our audience about the values of traveling.
yeah, there's
Let's
definitely
let's
benefits.
talk about this. So like, I'm a kind of man that likes the home nest. Like I like having
Totally.
a house
think
and a
that's-
home and a place to always come back to. Like I never want to not have that. Like I don't think I could live like a vagabond and just like jump around the
Yeah.
world. I don't think I could do it, honestly.
If you can.
But there is like real life experience in getting out of your comfort zone and
Totally.
traveling, for sure.
Yeah.
Like when we all went down to the Mexico trip we were talking about, I think we've talked about it previously in this podcast. When we were in high school, me, Alex, and Will, isn't that where I like got close to one of you? I think it was you, Al. Was in Mexico.
No, we got close on Memphis. It was with Will. You guys.
No, me and Will were St. Louis. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We worked
Yeah.
in a church together.
I don't know. Maybe. I think it was all of us.
Maybe that's where we
I
just
think
like
it was the
solidified.
three of
It's
us.
Yeah,
like
that's
we
like the
like
tribe.
solidified the
Yeah.
tribe.
in Mexico. Wow.
Anyway, in Mexico, we went
Wow.
down there with our high school, and it's a long story. I'm not going to get into it, but basically the trip was canceled last minute. There was turmoil on the border between Mexico and the United States.
It was drug wars.
Yeah, it was the drug wars. There
Yeah,
was,
well, the trip wasn't canceled. They just
mission was
the president of Mexico banned the traveling of immigrants into the poor villages because the drug cartel was getting too dangerous.
people were getting beheaded, so it was fucking serious.
So they were like, "You guys can't go stay in there because we can't guarantee your safety, and like you might get shot at."
but we went anyway, and it was awesome.
Yeah, they like had to call all our parents.
It was great.
They're like, "Are you cool with sending the kids?" And all of our parents, except one kid's, all of our parents were just like, "Fuck yeah, send them. We already paid for it. Let's
yeah,
do
dude.
this."
You know who that one kid was? It was me. You know who the parent was? It was Jeff.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
It was you?
It was me.
I thought it was Ryan.
No,
I
it was.
thought it was too.
It was
Well,
Daddy.
you can't say his
Yeah,
last
well,
name.
fucking.
I'll believe it. Yeah, it was my dad that was like, I'm not comfortable with that. And then I was like, Dad, literally every other person's parents have said yes. Like, you have to say yes. And he was like, all right, fine. So
That's great.
Jeff.
yeah. But anyway, we went down there and we did a whole bunch of stuff because our trip was technically canceled. It kind of threw the plans off, so we ended up doing a bunch of like random shit. But yeah, it was great. It was a really great experience. We were in Hermosillo,
Hermosillo, Sonora.
Hermosillo,
Hermosillo, Sonora. It's like the northwest desert.
Hermosillo is a city. Sonora is like the state in Mexico, essentially.
Okay, it was dope. It was a lot of fun. That was probably one of the best trips I've taken in my life.
Beautiful town.
Just because of like the people I was with and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I think that trip in itself, and I think this can go for anywhere in the world, going to a place where they don't speak the same language as your primary language, like that in itself is very scary.
That'll get you the fuck out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, you totally. I mean, that trip I totally had to, and
I didn't speak a lick of
Yeah.
Spanish going down there. I was like one of the kids out of the. How many kids went on that? Like
There
it was
were 15 of us, and there were
like 20 something
10
of them.
of them. O'Hara boys.
So like
Kansas
30 or
City.
40 guys were going down there. It was all boys.
Yeah, it was like 30 of us.
And I was like one of the least Spanish speaking people, and it was an experience. Getting out of your comfort zone is really uncomfortable. Imagine that, but
It forces you to be in different situations outside of your routine and what you're normally doing, and whenever you're exposed to different scenarios and different environments and just like different types of people, it kind of helps you learn about yourself,
it's a beautiful
and
thing.
it forces you to make decisions based on your immediate emotions, and you don't get that if you don't travel. Like, a message to white people: if you're a white person in America, we gotta wake the fuck up, y'all. First of all. Second of all, like, traveling for a white person, especially if you grew up in a pretty protected environment,
It's my parents.
or
It's
like
my
you
parents.
grew up in
I love
an
you,
all
Mom
white
and Dad.
school, you went to like parochial schooling or something, and all you know is white people. You can like name all the black kids in your school, or just ethnic kids in your school. Go travel, because there's a phenomenon that occurs when you are the minority, and it kind of gives you a little bit of perspective and helps you appreciate
Definitely.
minorities in the U.S., because we are predominantly a white country, and
It's shrinking.
well, it is, but like historically, U.S.
historically.
has mostly been white forever.
Definitely.
And
Yes.
still is. We
Yes.
are the majority still, which, like, I'm glad that it's like different, like diversifying, because of stuff like this. Because if you're exposed to different cultures when you travel, and just being the person that looks different than everybody else in a room or on the streets, like, it's an interesting perspective to have, and I think
Yeah.
you can benefit from feeling that, if only empathetically for the rest of people, like when you interact with people.
And how we've been talking, what Alex is referring to is leaving the country, which I would highly recommend. Whatever country you're listening in, I would highly recommend leaving your country and going on a trip to another country. But you can even do this within your country. At least we can in the United States. We went to Memphis on a trip in high school, and I was in a predominantly black high school. I was the only white guy around, and I can't explain the knowledge I gained from doing that. Like, getting out of your comfort zone. If you recall, Goons, back in the episode Success, the season 1 finisher, I talked about one of the things I thought would make me personally successful would be taking chances. Like, if I was on my deathbed, like, taking chances was like a big thing that would lead me to success. And traveling is a great example of that. Like, getting out of your comfort zone, taking a risk, meeting other people from different cultures. I can't stress how much it could benefit you.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with both your statements, and I think just relating this back to Blake's initial comment about him being a homebody, I think, and I was on a business trip probably a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Yeah, Will was out.
And the one thing that I really learned about that trip was how much, like, when you travel, you really appreciate home that much more, because it's
I
like,
agree.
especially on a work trip, like,
I agree.
you're not there to see the city or anything, and then you come back and you're like, God damn it, like, I love home. This is an awesome
Yeah,
feeling.
it's
Like,
nice.
Seriously.
It's nice.
It's kind of crazy, but I don't know. That's kind of how I felt.
No, I agree. I always am going to need... I'm not scared to travel anywhere. Like, if someone was like, you want to go on this crazy trip a couple weeks to this place, I would always say yes. Will just took a poll, and
It was yummy.
Oh my goodness.
I would always say yes, but I'm always going to have that place to come back to where there's family and friends and a routine. I don't know what it is about coming back to that, but it's really refreshing.
When I came back from Italy, I stayed in Firenze. That's where I stayed for 2.5 months, and I traveled like all around the world from there. It's a good central location, actually. If you want to just go backpacking, it's a good place to start. I came back. My parents picked me up from the airport, and I tell you what, just being gone for 2.5 months is not even a super long time, but you appreciate a lot of things about U.S. culture that you don't even realize
fuck
are
yeah.
different and a perk, such as going out to eat and paying separate checks. Like apparently in at least the Western European countries that I was in, it was such a hassle for the waiter to separate the check. Like some places didn't even do it. They're like, fuck no. You're going to pay together and you're going to pay exact change in cash. And you're like, what the fuck?
my God.
I'm
You
like,
know
do you
why
guys
they do
realize
that
how
now?
many different coins you fuckers have? Like, am I supposed to just carry around a fanny pack full of your goddamn €1, €2 pieces and 10-cent pieces? Like, this is
You
bullshit.
should just have loonies and toonies. Shout
Because
out
of the gratuity,
Canada.
dude.
What?
It's because of the gratuity.
That's okay. That's one thing that I do like about Italian restaurants. I don't know if this is the same at all European restaurants, but it was in a lot of them that I was in, is there's not really gratuity. If there is gratuity, it's automatically added in to your price. And
That's nice.
a lot of times,
That's how it should be everywhere.
a lot of times it's not like a tip that is a percentage of the cost of your entree. It's just a flat rate table fee. So it'll be like, okay, you're gonna have a table of 6. All of you have to pay €2 table fee. So the waiter gets €12 for waiting on that table of 6 dudes, regardless of what they order.
Do you pay that up front, or is that
Yes,
with
you
your
sit
check?
down. Well, I mean, you pay it all at the
pay it,
end.
I
But
gotcha.
when you sit down, it's on the menu. They're like
fuck
$2
yeah.
table fee. I'm like, fuck yeah, because
Yeah,
then even
that's
people
great.
that don't order still have to pay a fee.
Right.
And yeah, that makes sense because you're taking up their utilities and airspace.
I mean, they're
or
still
whatever.
usually serving you like water or something.
But it also just, to me, and maybe somebody that has waited for a long time or works in the restaurant industry can explain this. This is a totally a tangent, but I'm going to finish it really
Yeah,
quickly.
do your thing, dude.
And
Suck it up,
I'm going to
Goons.
be John Belushi here in Reservoir Dogs.
Is John
Why-
Belushi in what?
Not John Belushi. Fuck, Steve Buscemi. Fuck. Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi. John Belushi. Steve Buscemi. It sounds... I mean, come on. Why does it matter, like, carrying out a filet mignon in your hand is no more difficult
Than carrying out a
carrying
grilled
out
cheese?
fucking grits?
Yo, you're right.
Are you fucking
You're
serious?
totally right.
I have to tip this person
You should be tipping the chef.
$10 to bring me a steak and only 50 cents to bring me grits. That doesn't make sense at all. Like, I'm paying the price, I'm paying the high amount of dollar because of the worth of the entree. The waiter's doing the same difference. And I'm not saying don't tip. Tip 20% every time.
I
Like,
agree. Move that.
unless you're a
decimal.
shitty. Like, if you're shitty, I'm going to give you 15, maybe 10,
right.
depending on how shitty you are. If you're really good, maybe I'll give you 25. But usually around 20 automatically. I'm not saying don't tip. I'm saying why is it dependent on a percentage of, like, the table fee? So much more efficient. I never had a single problem paying a table fee, and you already know what it is going in.
That's
so you
nice.
just know, okay, my total at the end of this meal is going to be what it says right here in the menu,
$2
€15 next to the pasta, plus €2. I know. I don't have to do any math.
That's nice. That's
Man,
nice.
it's nice. All right, changing over. We're going back to travel.
Traveling.
We're talking about favorite places to go. We've talked about what the benefits are of travel.
What do you guys think traveling's like gonna be? Like gonna be?
What's
What do you-
We're gonna be there. Hey, put a hole in the microwave. You ain't about that there.
All right. I'm done.
What do you guys think traveling
Is gonna be like in the future?
is gonna be like in the future?
Electric
You think
trains.
you think we're going up into space? You think it's gonna be electric trains? You think we got flying cars? What do you
I want to
think?
get to Denver in an hour.
I think
That would be fucking dope.
I think hyperloops are gonna be a thing.
What's that? Is that the fast trains?
Yeah. Like there's
Same.
we've talked about this already.
Baltimore to LA. Let's do it.
Yeah. That would be crazy.
that would be
St. Louis to
fucking
Kansas
crazy.
I-70.
in 30 minutes. That drive takes you
You know how-
3.5, 4 hours.
Let the
30
semis
minutes.
have
You know
the
how
roads.
scary that would be, though? Like, are you going like 200 miles an hour?
You're going fast, yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, but think about how much less that would hurt than crashing at 70 miles an hour in a car.
Hold that thought,
You're just flattened.
because I'm going to bring up a debate later.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I would say, I mean, I think airplanes are going to be around forever. I don't think that way of transportation is going to ever go away.
I agree.
Aerospace travel.
Like air traveling is always going to be around.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
Obviously, planes are going to continue to improve, and technology is going to continue to improve.
I mean, it just fucking makes sense. Like roads, you're constricted to this pavement. Air traveling, you can literally go like 3D degrees. Like you can go up or down, left or right, any amount of altitude. Like it just makes sense.
Tunnels, Elon Musk.
Dude, that's some serious shit.
We need.
I want it.
That's some serious
We need
shit.
like literally a serious autobahn or some type of
Oh my god.
like huge road that goes from like the western coast to the eastern coast, and you can travel very, very
Honestly,
fast.
you know what it is? You know what's preventing that? Trucks.
Yeah.
It's fucking trucks, y'all. Why are trucks and cars on the same road? It doesn't make sense. Nobody
Dude.
likes it. Trucks don't like it.
Good call.
Because I've driven it, and I fucking hate these cars zipping around you like it ain't
When
no
you're talking
business. I'm like,
trucks,
get out of my way.
need an
When you're
Autobahn.
talking trucks,
Tractors.
you're thinking of like big boys.
I'm thinking about semis, box trucks.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. They should have their own lane. That would
Like,
be that would be
not
efficient.
even own lane, just a completely different road to travel on. Like, if you just had cars, you could be going way faster.
You could. I mean, the Autobahn, I haven't checked the stats in a while, but the Autobahn in Germany has better, like, their safety statistics are stronger than, like, regular highways here in America.
Well, that's because, I mean, no offense, and I've had this conversation with my grandfather who used to go to Germany all the time. It's because fucking United States drivers are
Yeah.
idiots. Like,
Germany has the
they're-
Oh,
best.
fuck yeah.
They're stupid. My grandpa would always harp on people, and to this day, I never do this because of him. He would always say, people drive in the left lane like no other in the United States. And it's so true. People just stay in the left
Yeah.
lane just to pass
It's fucking
people.
true.
I never let me finish this thought, you
I'm
fucker.
holding on, man. I'm holding it.
Good for you. Now let's kiss. No. So, basically, my grandfather would always say, like I said, people drive in the left lane way too much in the United States. Like, when I drive in the left-hand lane, I'm passing you, and then I'm getting right back over in front of you in the right-hand lane. It's the left-hand lane is the passing lane. Stay the fuck out of it.
Yes.
Especially if you're a fucking semi driver. Stay the fuck out of it.
I wish you guys could see the rage in Will's eyes right now.
It's just like, number one, you're slowing traffic down. You're slowing my day down. Yes, I don't know what's going on in your life, but just be a smart driver. Pass on the left lane. Don't drive in it. Pass.
We
That's all I
could
gotta say.
have an episode solely out of ranting about driving. I promise you.
Road rage.
And I would not participate because I have negative road rage. I never get mad never ever get mad when I'm driving. The most I might say, if someone like cuts me off, I might be like, "Okay, guy." That's about it. Now, that being said, what Will just said is the only thing that gets under my skin. Let's say I'm driving on a 2-lane highway. Someone's in the left lane. They should be passing. That's what left lane's for. And they're not. They're staying fucking idle with the car that's in the right lane. And they're just creating a wall.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that. That's the only situation that gets under my skin.
And I think the biggest reason is because we use cruise control like no other. It's great, but if you're passing someone and you're both going 70 miles an hour, you're gonna fucking stay right at that fucking.
It's
That's
true.
the thing. Like,
It's like, just speed up, pass
Yeah,
them,
just fucking
fucking
get
pass
over
them.
with.
or
and
like,
then
why
get
do you
further
have to
enough and
pass
follow
them if they're going 70 and you're only going 71? Like, why do you really need to pass them? Just slow down 1 mile per hour and just tail behind them. You're gonna save gas money. You know, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, you're interrupting the rules of the road if you stay the same speed as the person in the right lane. It just fucks everything
Anyway,
up.
so driving is a thing. That's a huge part about traveling in the U.S. is a lot of times you got to drive somewhere, and we're a big ass chunk of land. Yeah. And you know what? Airfare in the United States is expensive as fuck. In Europe, I flew from Milan to Barcelona and back to Milan for $50, folks. $50.
Can I
Are
ask
you serious?
something? Can I
Not
ask you
joking.
something?
Round trip.
Were the airlines as nice?
No. Oh, they were complete shit. It was Ryanair. Ryanair fucking sucks.
that's
EasyJet and Ryanair, I promise you, I'd still do it. If
Yeah.
we had EasyJet and Ryanair here,
you would still ride it?
fuck yeah, dude.
No,
If it was just to Denver, I would pay $50 to go to Denver.
There's cheap airlines
No,
to get
yeah.
out to Denver.
That's what I'm saying. You don't fucking give a shit. I'm not talking about flying all the way to Maine or all the way to Seattle.
go a
I'm not
state
talking
over.
about like flying to Alaska when it's like 10
find
hours.
cheap airfare, but yeah, no, I agree.
They're
But
not as reliable here in the U.S. There's cheap airfare, but it's shit. They'll rip you off.
I wanted to mention something back when we were talking about just kind of the benefits of traveling. Traveling in the United States compared to other countries is so much different, though, because we have states where the primary language here and honestly the culture is pretty similar. Where if you're traveling to Iowa, like it's a state away from Missouri, it's going to be very similar. Whereas if you're in Germany and you travel to
it's true.
Spain or somewhere like that, completely different language, completely different culture.
You
Like,
know why that
That's
is?
true.
It's because they've been around for way longer. We are
America's-
so young.
came from there.
We're
We are
300
young.
years old, guys. We're less than
We're
300
very
years
young.
old.
That's insane.
We are less than 300 years old.
crazy.
Think about everything. Every like skyscraper in the United States is less than a couple hundred years old.
That's insane.
A lot of them are
I've
less than
never
100
really
years old.
thought about that. I mean, there's definitely different cultures in the United States, but not that different.
Florence,
than what you
a
were
lot of the
talking
biggest
about, Will.
buildings in Florence were built in 1500s.
It's crazy that technology,
It's nuts.
like how they build all that
But
shit.
even though we are mostly the same, somebody from the Northeast is way different from somebody in Texas,
Yes.
who's way different
Yes.
from somebody in Kansas.
Yeah.
Can-
Like a Texan
California.
to like someone from Montana.
yeah, very different personality.
wise,
Yes.
But if
Culture-
culture, it's gonna be the same. I mean, we are a melting pot in America. And
Culture, as far as like historical, like language, dress. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little bit different as far as like flip flops and stilettos.
well, you have
but-
your local color, but you're
Yeah.
If you want to go to a McDonald's in
Traditions
Local
and-
color.
Maine, you've never heard of local color?
I haven't.
Like local color means like your local like restaurants, like
Okay.
wherever you're from, like,
So, like-
there's only that one restaurant that's fucking,
jargon.
J-Town is like Harris's?
yeah, or
Okay.
like Madison's, like
Okay.
that.
Or like how you guys in Warrensburg would say like bud or whatever. Or,
Yee!
you. Yeah, that's kind of like jargon that's affiliated with local color there. Yeah.
Before I forget, this is in the middle of the podcast. It probably should have been at the first or the last.
that should have been at the first. What I just said.
But I want to say thank you to MS Molly BK on iTunes. She left us a review, and you are now our iTunes queen. Thank you, Molly.
God, your first
Molly.
review.
Thank you, babe.
What?
So Molly,
This is special.
if you want something, you just come get it.
Yeah, you're tight with the try right now. You're
the
probably the lead fan. So all you other people
You're
listening,
number one.
bow down to Molly.
She's the
'cause,
one.
She outdid
Shout
you.
out to
She
Molly.
tried it. She gave it a try, and she liked it.
She did.
She liked it.
She
And thank,
she liked it. She liked it.
okay, apologize for those guys, but thank you for finally doing us justice. Yeah.
Thanks, Molly. Appreciate
I
it.
exist
I
now.
hope this makes your day. You're beautiful. I don't know.
It's a little random sprinkle of a gym in our traveling podcast. Thanks, Molly.
Molly's like a 40-year-old dude. He's like, yes, finally, accept him.
Yeah, traveling is it's a weird thing. There's lots of
What's the worst traveling story you've been through.
Ooh.
Have you had a time where you've been like on the road
Oh,
and like something fucked up happens?
Yeah.
What is it? Because I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff can go wrong.
Okay.
The roads are the rules.
This is a bittersweet thing. So my parents, my mom and my stepdad have a timeshare in Florida, and our family is always looking to save $1. So we're not flying. We have flown, but we normally don't. We normally drive. It's like an 18 or 19 hour drive. It's a long fucking drive. And
Just did it by myself.
yeah, he did. He did.
In a 26-foot box truck, folks.
Okay, there's a difference between what you did and this story I'm about to tell.
Yeah, I get paid like $24 an
I
hour.
wasn't getting paid, so that's one big difference. The other big difference is we did it in one swing. We went straight at it, 19 hours without stopping. And let me tell you, you start going crazy. You literally are like, get me out of this car. Like your ass is asleep. Everything is just pissing you off. You like look at trees. You're just like, I don't give a shit.
Fuck you.
And you just want to get out of the car so bad. Your legs are aching.
Lactic acid, baby.
But you'll get an extra day on vacation if you just suck it up and stop being a bitch. So that's what we all did. And the thing about this is I've had some really bad times when we just went straight through. But in hindsight, it was like the best times. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like
you're like, you remember that time when it was shitty?
Exactly. Like it's awful when you're in it. You're like, please God, let me out of this. I will pay X amount of dollars for a bed just to sleep. Please, Lord. But after you do it and the vacation's over, you're like, oh my God, do you remember that like awful struggle we went through together and all these funny memories of when everything was just absolute shit? So like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like good and bad at the same time.
It's like those Caribbean trips that I go on. Like, when I'm on them, like, I hate myself. I hate everything. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But then when I get back, it's kind of fun to be able to be like, yeah, those were shitty times, man. I tell you, like reminisce and being like, yeah,
it's
we
a
were
real
pissing
thing.
in water bottles.
It's a real thing. I got a piece so bad.
My like bad travel experience probably was on my last business trip. I took
To Cali.
to California. I was going to Orange County, and basically, long story short, I participated. Well, I was coaching a group of high schoolers. It's called Maccabi Games. It's this huge Jewish Olympic style event for a week long. It was in Orange County, like I said. I was taking about 25 high school kids from Kansas City to LA. I had a couple other chaperones with me, but I was like the lead guy in charge. And generally, we're dealing with Delta Airlines, and they generally have like a group salesperson. Well, that Sunday morning, they didn't have a group salesperson. So I had to literally check in every single individual's bag before I went into security. And I knew this was, our flight was at like 7:05 in the morning. And everyone got to the airport at 6. And I was pushing for 5:30 because I knew last year that it was going to be close. And basically, I was the last person to go through security because I wanted all these kids ahead of me, had to pay for their bags. We get through security, and then I hear my name over...
Because you didn't check in yet or whatever.
Shit.
No, I hear my name over the intercom that says, Will.
Can't say your name, dude.
Yeah. So I hear my name over the intercom, and they're like,
What's your name?
If you don't come to gate, yada, yada,
It's
yada.
Will, dude.
We should just
Within a
replace
minute.
all last names with this fucking guy. So, Will this fucking guy.
Yeah, so basically, they threatened to give away my plane ticket. And I've never walked onto a plane like that nervous and that like sweaty and like in such a hurry
Yeah.
in my life. because I mean, if I would have lost, if I wouldn't have been able to get on that plane, number one, that would have been very bad because all those kids wouldn't know what the fuck to do.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and
That's stressful.
They're
yeah,
like,
luckily it was very stressful, and like the whole entire time I was like, get in that security line, get in that security line, get in that security line, and you would think, I mean, Sunday is a pretty popular time to travel, but
Yeah.
at fucking 7 a.m.
Oh, fuck yeah,
holy
dude.
shit! It
Oh,
was
yeah.
security
all times in the morning.
in
from
Kansas
4 a.m.,
City.
5
Is
a.m.,
one of
whenever
my
it opens.
favorite airports because it is
KC.
so
It's easy.
easy to get around.
So easy.
easy to get around, and literally you go through security to a specific gate. So if you're in gate 33, you go through, let's say it's like 30 through 40. Like,
There's,
you
like,
go
only a
through
handful.
just that security, and it is so fucking convenient because usually there's not a long line.
1,000 people
But
there.
this time there was, and that we literally, if we would have waited in the security line, I wouldn't have gotten on that plane. They made a separate line for us just to go through
Nice.
security faster.
Nice.
That's stressful.
It was very
That's
stressful.
stressful.
But-
What you got, bud?
What?
What's your worst one?
That's,
My worst
Travel
travel.
experience.
And then we're gonna debate.
I bet I know what it is.
Fuck.
To burn down your apartment.
Yeah,
Boston.
I think that was the story I was going for.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Well, the end
night
of
you lost.
the end. Man,
Yeah.
I tell you what, I could have a whole season of podcasts about my travel abroad. Like every trip I went on could easily be a couple episodes because I just have some stories, man. So traveling with other people is cool because you build bonding experiences with that person that you travel with, and you're able to reminisce, and it makes it a little bit more comfortable because you have like that home base with you. Like if you're with somebody that you're friends with, traveling with them, it's like that comfort blanket. But if you travel on your own, it's a whole nother animal. Like, especially if you're traveling outside the country, trying to navigate. Like, I got lost in the Amsterdam airport. What is it called? I forgot what it's called. It's a really nice airport, but it's really confusing. And I had to take the tram in to my hostel, which was like way out in the country, and I don't know. Traveling by yourself, it's a little bit terrifying, but I definitely recommend it because you get some good experience out of it. I was alone a lot over there in Europe. I lived in Florence, Italy, and I lived with 3 other dudes that I just met when I got over there. We were just like randomly assigned to a room, and this was like the last week that I was there, and so I'd gone through a lot of shit up until this point. And we kind of just wanted to hang out in Florence for a little bit because most of the weekends I would travel. And so we kind of just wanted to go out, my roommates and I, with some of our other friends that we had made over there and just kind of like do it up. So we were going to go clubbing or whatever. And I was just trying to get rid of the alcohol that I had in stock. Like we had some wines. I had some ouzo, which is like Greek clear liquor that kind of tastes like,
Oh, that's good.
it's like a refreshing
That's
Jaeger.
good.
It's
I
got
like
that
it.
licorice flavor.
No, don't be a bitch.
I had
Not a
some.
bitch.
I had some brandy. Yes, you are. But I had some brandy. I had some whiskey, and I think my roommate had some vodka. And so we just like, I like just kind of like was polishing off this stuff, and I had just like a bunch of different kinds of liquor, which is never a good idea.
It's a good
Just
night.
pro tip, y'all. 4 shots of different liquor is going to affect you different than 4 shots of one. So I was pretty lit when we went out, and then we went out and I had some Dragoon beer. There's this little English pub, I think it was called the Lions Pub in Florence, that had this beer that was whiskey infused, and it was 12%. And it was one of those beers that you can't really even see through it. It's just black. And I had 1 or 2 of those at the bar at the pub. And I think this is where I lost my brand new iPhone 5S. iPhone 5S just came out like the previous fall. And I got one maybe a week before I went to Italy. just so I would have like the nice phone with the good GPS and can navigate around well. And long story short, I wake up, I like black out, and I come to at like 3 a.m., maybe 2:33 a.m., and I'm just somewhere in Florence in an alleyway that I've never seen before.
Oh my God.
And I'm still drunk at this point, and I'm just like, where am I? And seriously, like, I didn't know where. I just like kept walking for a little bit, and then eventually I was like smart enough to be like, oh yeah, I have a computer in my pocket, let me pull that out. And I like feel in my pocket where I keep it, and I'm like, oh, not in there. Another one, nope, not in there. I don't have my phone.
Oh.
I don't know where I'm at. And so I just keep walking. Just really want to get home at this point. I'm not really looking for my phone because I don't even know where I am. I have no reference point. So I'm walking around for probably like a half an hour. And finally I see Il Duomo, the Florence Cathedral. And it's pretty far away. And I live on the other side of it. So I just start walking to it. I was like, well, if I can... I know my way home from the Duomo because it's only like 10 blocks away from my apartment. So I figured I'd just walk to that, and I found my way back to my apartment. And at this point, it's like 4 a.m. And I'm not as concerned about my phone anymore because, like I said, I'm still drunk. I'm more concerned about drunk munchies. And so I decided it's a good idea to just start making some penne over the stove.
No shit, Blake.
It was
Penne.
the shit. Penne. So I start boiling that, but I'm also still drunk, so I'm kind of tired and sleepy. So I just go to my bed and just decide to lay down while the water boils with the pasta in it. And I wake up maybe 30 minutes later, just covered in smoke, just smoke all throughout my apartment, just like filled.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what in the fuck? At this point, I'm like a little bit more sober to where I like am thinking rationally at least a little bit and can understand. Maybe it was like an hour later. And I go into the kitchen and there's just like a wooden spoon handle on the floor, and it's black on one end. And I look at the pot and it's just charcoal, just pure carbon atoms in the bottom of this pot, and it's just billowing smoke on the stove that's still turned on.
Al.
And so I'm like, oh fuck. I walk around, luckily, and this is the only time this has ever happened in the entire summer that we were there, that none of my roommates were home. None of us had even really ever like stayed anywhere else while we were living there. It was a complete anomaly that it just so happened to be on this night that they all like stayed over at our friends' places, and I just made it back to our place. Somehow got separated from them, I guess, at some point. And so I was just like frantically opening all the windows and just fucking waving the smoke out of there and just spraying cologne and shit. And it was awful. And they got back and they're like, damn, what happened? Like, it smells in here. I was like, yeah, kind of downplaying it. I was like, yeah, I burnt some fucking pasta. It's shitty.
I would have
sorry
paid
about that.
I would have paid good money for GoPro footage that night.
Oh, dude, me too. I would pay a lot of money for that.
Retrace your tracks.
Dude, I did. Well, and that's the thing is, I was realizing what had happened that next morning, and I was like, holy shit, I don't have a phone in a foreign country. And so just communicating with my parents like, hey, mama, I lost my phone. Don't tell daddy yet because I'm not ready for that. And they were actually really chill about it. They were just glad I was safe and didn't die.
Yeah.
I was like, I was hammered.
I mean,
I'm
too,
sorry
man.
that you paid for me to come over here and pay my tuition, and I just got drunk.
I'm glad you didn't get hurt either. So I would say Al wins the worst story.
Man, that's not even the worst of mine.
To close out the pod, I want to have a little debate. I want to debate what the best form of travel is.
What?
And I think I know what my answer is.
What?
It's not a car.
No.
Cars suck.
What do you guys think? I'll tell you what mine is. My ideal form of travel is probably train.
Yeah, same.
It's probably train.
Trains are cool.
They're pretty fast. They're faster than a car.
Not in America.
Not in America compared to like Asia, but like you don't have to fucking drive. You can just like sleep. And if a train is gonna fucking wreck, I'd rather die in a train wreck than a plane crash. Hands down.
Just less time.
Hands down. Hands down. Like, let me be mangled, high speeds. I'm cool with that. I don't want to free fall to the ground and die. I mean, flight is probably more efficient than train travel, but I'm not trying to die in a plane crash.
Yeah, I would say plane travel is mine for sure. Maybe.
It's cool.
I mean,
why is it better than train?
Because it's more efficient.
Oceans.
Yeah, you can fucking go across
That's
continents
true.
with a plane.
That's true.
And like I said, it may be more expensive, but if I'm trying to get to from Kansas City to St. Louis, I can do that in an hour. If I want to ride on a train from Kansas City to St. Louis, that's going to take me like 4 or 5 hours.
Think about an engine going
and
out, though, dude.
the worst thing about, and this goes back to the United States transit system for trains, their schedule of time is such shit. Like, I don't know if you guys have ridden a train lately, but there's only one track from Kansas City all the way to St. Louis. There is one track. There are different stopping points along the way that have different, I don't even know the correct train lingo here, but like a separate track for you to go and to stay on. But there's one single track, and I remember like having to wait on trains on like certain portions. And that's fucking bullshit. It's like, oh, I'm going to just sit here and look out the window. Like,
would you still prefer planes over trains if our trains were that of Asia's trains?
Europe.
Or Europe's
Europe's
trains?
got some fast trains.
I don't know. I still don't think it's going to be as fast as a plane.
What about a boat?
No, not traveling boat-wise. I don't know. Cruises kind of scare me because of motion sickness.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've been out on a boat. It wasn't a cruise
Seasick.
boat. It wasn't a cruise
Don't
boat.
like it.
It was a bigger boat. I don't know boat lingo. It was a bigger boat, but I was out in the ocean snorkeling, and I totally got seasick.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I wouldn't like it.
I've never done it.
I've never done that, but I don't know. Boat travel, no. Not fun.
I would do it for sure. I would do it. I'm gonna defend, and this is not because I don't like. I think airplanes just have an unfair advantage because they make impossible things possible for any other mode of transportation. Like you can do the most, you can get to the most places via plane. But there's definitely benefits to traveling on land. First of all, driving places really kind of just makes you appreciate every inch of land there is between your home base and wherever you're going. Yeah, like when I drove to Florida this past week, it really, like I would never have seen parts of Georgia or Tennessee if I would have just flown over. Like I would have seen it from really far away, but like I got to drive through the Smokies a little bit, and that was kind of cool.
That's cool.
Not that that's a trade-off. Like I probably would have rather flown. My company would have paid for me to fly, or if I didn't need to take all the materials. But like train, this is why I'm going to preach for the trains, is because I got around in Europe, like inside of Italy on train. Like if I was just going through Italy, I would travel by train, and they are a little bit faster. The reason that I think they're cool and it's almost worth the extra hour of travel or whatever that it takes on a fast bullet train is you buy your ticket ahead of time and you just walk up. Like you walk from outside into the train station, and then go to your train gate, get on the train, and sit down.
That's nice.
And they
That's quick.
like you either like scan your ticket on something or they come around and they'll like punch it or something, and then you just sit. It's usually pretty comfortable. It's a lot more smooth than a highway of any sort. And like in Italy, for instance, we were traveling through fucking Tuscany. I was like, what is the region? The region that Florence is in, which is like northern central Italy, is Tuscany. You've heard of Tuscany, I'm sure, viewers. If you haven't, it's a gorgeous place. There's lots of vineyards and rolling hills. It's fantastic. And it has a lot of beautiful sunflower fields. And I would
Get some
not
wine.
have seen that. Yeah, it's a lot of tasty wine. I would not have seen the sunflower fields if I wouldn't have taken the train. It was just kind of cool because you can appreciate all the sightseeing, but you don't have to go through the pains of driving. Like you don't have to be attent. Driving, to me, the reason it sucks is you're constantly looking forward at the road, and you have to be attent for so long. And for somebody like me, that's a struggle.
It's hard, especially if it's a long trip.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that.
Like, I'm going to Chicago here in a couple months with my family, and instead of driving 6-7 hours to Chicago from Jeff City, we're going to take the train. It's going to be about 9 hours,
Nice.
and it's going to be cool.
The extra hours the train is going to take is going to be worth it because you can just play cards and drink beer.
Yeah, we're going to just bring some wine and cheese and play games.
That's the cool part about trains.
Yes, I mean, I agree. That is a cool part, but
You got to have the time.
I mean, that's what it is. It's
gotta have the
opportunity
time.
costs,
I mean,
the economical. I mean,
But
nothing.
why do you travel?
I understand
But
Will's point.
Is it
I understand,
just destination or is it the journey?
I understand.
depends.
Yes, Al's got a
Because
point.
road trips are kind of fun sometimes.
Al's got a point. Will's got a point. Flight is definitely most efficient.
Right. If you're just trying to get there,
Yes.
do what you're trying to do there and get back.
Money's not
That's
an
the best
issue.
way.
That's the way to go.
It is usually the most expensive in the U.S. In Europe, trains are actually a little more pricey than Ryanair and EasyJet.
Are you shitting me?
No, EasyJet and Ryanair are so cheap
Damn.
that they're cheaper than a train. Like it would cost.
That
It
scares
would
me a
cost
little
like
bit.
over 100 euros
mean,
to take a train from Florence
If-
to Berlin, but it would maybe cost like 80 euro plane ticket.
If the United States gets a better train system, I mean, prices are going to increase.
They'll go up. But then it'll be faster.
Might be worth
But I think when it comes to travel, for me, it's all about fucking opportunity cost.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm traveling somewhere, if I have a destination, I'm trying to fucking get there.
No, you're
If
right.
I'm going to Colorado and I want to ski, I want to fucking fly.
Really?
Like, yeah, I've done it before, and it
Easy
is
drive.
the easiest fucking thing because number one, you're up in the fucking
Dude, yes.
altitude. Your ears are popping. You get adjusted to the fucking mile high in fucking Colorado or wherever the fuck you go.
That's a horrible argument, Will. If you drive, it's gradually adjusting.
no.
Yeah,
I mean, yes,
you
that
might
is
not even
true.
have your ears pop. I
But-
usually don't.
Just listen. My biggest thing with traveling is time.
Yeah,
I
No
don't want to
debate
sit on a
there.
fucking
It's true.
train
It's true.
and think, oh, I saved money. In the end, you're not really saving your money.
How long does it take
I
to
mean,
drive to Denver?
you are just out. Just listen to me here. You are saving money in the long run, but are you saving time? And time is everything.
It's like a there's what do you want to save? Do you want, if you have a lot of PTO, maybe you can burn the time and
That's true.
stretch out your trip and make it a little cheaper with gas. Or you can just save your time that you would be normally making money and go ahead and buck up and buy the plane ticket.
I mean, our recent trip to Colorado,
It would not have been efficient
the trip,
to fly.
it wouldn't have been efficient to fly.
It still was a
But
day.
the trip out there also wasn't very eventful.
Yes and no.
It wasn't very eventful.
We wouldn't have had to just sit in a fucking car
Yeah.
for 9 hours.
True, but
done a
when
lot
you
more.
fly, I think this is my thing. If the travel, if the road travel, if it takes like 10, maybe 12 hours or more to drive, then flying is efficient. But if it's Denver, that's 8 hours away.
Well, I know.
You're gonna spend
that's
an
a
hour or
different-
two in
that's
the
a different-
airport before your
completely
flight
different
takes
issue.
off. It's a 2-hour flight, and then you're gonna have to get your luggage and shit. So you're talking already like 5 hours.
So flights are better long distance.
Even though the flight's quicker than the drive, it's still taking up 5 hours of your day that you're not vacationing.
flights are better long
3
distance.
more hours
But then,
to save half the price,
But then this fucking gets into the thing I was talking about earlier about driving down to
and then
Florida.
you have a car. too.
Like, if my family just flew to Florida every year, we wouldn't have these great memories of me, like, having to pee and fucking pulling over. Like, we
That's
wouldn't,
my thing.
We wouldn't have any of that.
When I travel with Lauren, that's like one of my favorite parts is the
Who's
drive.
Lauren?
That's my GF, who I travel with. Semi,
GF? What's
semi
GF?
What's
frequently.
GF, dude?
Fuck off, guys. We hang out a lot and we fornicate. Jesus.
Your fucking girlfriend, dude.
We're
That's what I
committed
was
to
looking
each
for.
other.
Is that all that amounts to that?
We
Dude,
touch each other's
She just your fucking fuck buddy or
privates,
what?
and we don't touch
Jesus.
anybody else's privates, and that means that we have a label. We go on dates and stuff. We go out on town together. We also travel, and I look forward to the car ride with her. That's like part of the thing. We're like listening to music. We're talking.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Holding
That's the
hands.
thing.
You can do that anywhere, though.
You can do that on the plane.
You can do
You're
it on the plane.
totally
It's
right.
true. It's
But
true.
I think maybe it's that thing, like you're working for it. Like I was saying, like part of it being like enduring process is like part of what makes it a bonding experience. You're
it's
like relishing in almost the.
It's like a feat. There's like
Yeah.
a feat in your hands. Like, you're not going to get there unless you drive as a couple.
And like I said, I was gonna say this before, but I kind of just mumbled it. If you fly somewhere, how are you gonna get around wherever you're at? Are you
That's
gonna
true,
rent a
too.
car?
Then you got
You
that
just
problem.
doubled the price there, bud.
Then you
It
got that
just
problem.
depends, though, because if I'm going to the mountains, all I need is a rental car to get me to the mountains.
That's true.
Yeah,
Will's
not
got a
gonna
maybe
point.
that's true.
Maybe
I
he'll
mean-
just Uber.
But if you drive
not
out
gonna
there,
Uber,
you
'cause
drive your car
Denver-
straight to your lodging.
Denver's airport is not in fucking downtown Denver, nowhere near. It's like Kansas
30
City
minutes
Airport.
out.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
it's far away.
it's out in its own world.
I don't know.
Yeah, Denver Airport. I don't like Denver
Most
Airport either.
most airports are outside of the
I
city.
mean, that makes sense.
Not St. Louis.
St. Louis airport sucks.
Yeah, I don't like St. Louis Airport either. That fucking Lambert,
confusing.
shitty piece of shit.
Whoa, dude.
I hate airports.
I think you need
just
to
in
relax a
in
little
general.
bit. Well, you need a massage.
No, airports suck, except for Kansas City Airport.
You need a BJ.
I need something. All right. Well,
It's been real, everybody.
travel. It was interesting. We discussed a lot.
I would highly suggest,
Go travel.
highly suggest traveling. Get the fuck out of wherever you're comfortable with and go do something.
And you know what? I've been to a lot of places, but I still want to see more. So if you've got any suggestions of where
Yeah.
the try should go next,
Leave a comment.
go ahead and tell us about
Yeah.
it. Maybe there's some place we've never even heard of.
And I'm
Where are you
gonna-
from? Where
I'm
you from?
gonna-
Should we
Where you
come
from?
to you?
I'm
Let's do
gonna
this.
end it on this note, and we just did this, and I said I was gonna talk about this sometime on this podcast, and here it is. We just went and saw one of our favorite artists,
Oh my god.
musician, and
He's a magician.
a musician. His name is Mac DeMarco. He's
Oh,
awesome,
Mac.
and
Great concert.
honestly, go travel somewhere outside of your hometown and see a really good artist.
Yeah.
It's very worth it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I think,
If you like concerts,
yeah, if you like concerts, yes.
and if it's a good venue,
I
We
mean,
lit-
I think just seeing somewhere in a spot you have not been is going to be good.
We literally built the trip around a concert.
I think that's the thing. If you are kind of wanting to travel, dip your toes in the experimenting of other places, that's a good idea of something to do. If you're like, I don't know where I would go, I'm scared, I don't know what I would do, look up one of your favorite musicians, see where their tour dates
Yeah.
are and where
If they're going to be in the radius
that
of
as an
10
excuse.
hours, fucking drive there. Like, get your shit done.
You're like, when would I ever go to Omaha, Nebraska? I don't even
Yeah.
know why I would want to go there. They have a nice zoo.
I got
But
family
like,
there.
maybe you like George Strait and he's playing there.
Omaha, Nebraska, College World Series.
I got family there.
All right,
Get out,
well,
go travel, plan something. It doesn't have to be next month. Plan it 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Plan it 9 months from now. Just fucking plan it. Go fucking do something,
or
dude.
go tomorrow.
We're all
You can
gonna
do
fucking
whatever you
we're
want.
all gonna fucking die someday. Go experience the world. We may never be back here again. Get the fuck out and go travel. I'm done.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, get out of our podcast.
Yeah. All right.